Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Top 3 Tuesday. It is Tuesday in case you didn't know. Before we start today's video, I would like to ask you all to smash that like button. Corny, I know. Maybe caress that subscribe button. But seriously though, thanks for taking the time out of your day. I know everybody's got busy lives now. I really appreciate anyone that clicks on my videos. Anybody that really appreciate anybody that subscribes to my channel. We're like over 80 subscribers, which is nuts. My massive target is to get to 100 by my birthday, which is on the 10th of July. So fingers crossed, we could do it. It's not, I did start to have doubts, but I just threw that number out there. Thought nice rounded up 100. And yeah, it's not that far away. So please consider caressing that subscribe button. Right, so we're just looking at my figure of Fulgo. I didn't want to put any games out to give any spoilers away, right? But what we're going to do today, I was going to do a video anyway on Sunday, and I thought actually this can wait and do this on my Top 3 Tuesday. I think it's really good Top 3 Tuesday. I don't know, it's still toying with what to call it. I was going to say like Top 3 wow moments in gaming, but I think what's more suitable is probably Top 3 special moments that I'll never forget. So this is my top 3 special moments in gaming. And looking at what I've got in front of me, just off camera, this will be a kind of, I think I've got them mostly in order, apart from my top 3. I'll save them till the end. You know, I do a top 3 Tuesday, but I like to do honourable mentions. So looking at my honourable mentions, it's kind of a brief history of my gaming. I've been gaming since the mid to late 80s, so over 30 years of gaming. I did fall off it a little bit, but I've always been, you know, even when I didn't have consoles, I'd always be reading magazines and keeping an eye what was going on in the gaming industry, you know. So I was looking at my game collection and I thought, right, I knew what my top 3 were. They to me, I can still, looking at them now, they've still got that wow factor for me, you know. But I never forget the time somebody lent me Donkey Kong. We'll just move Fulgo out the way. Thank you for being a stand-in, Fulgo. He says you're welcome. Yeah, so Donkey Kong Country. I remember seeing Super Mario World and in the magazines. It was years before I actually had a Super Nintendo. I was always a little bit later back then with when I had the consoles. And I remember thinking, Super Mario World, the games will never get better. It was so amazing looking compared to, like, I was used to the Sega Master System, and it was a massive leap forward. And then towards the end of the Super Nintendo life, I had a Super Nintendo at that time. Somebody lent me Donkey Kong. They said the graphics are amazing. I don't know how old I was when I was playing it. I was in comprehensive school. I think maybe first, second year comprehensive school. I was like, wow. I remember calling my brother into my bedroom to come and check out these graphics. And he was like, what? We couldn't believe the Super Nintendo was capable of pulling off a game. And it wasn't just a good looking game. The soundtrack was fantastic. And the gameplay was really good as well. It wasn't just, look what we can do, like, oh, Rossi's come up now and he's having a big scratch. Do you want to say hello to everybody? Say hello, Rossi. Hello. Say hello. Right, he's going to try now. You're famous on YouTube, boy. Yeah, so, caress, I'm sorry, I'm getting used to saying this. Caress that subscribe button if you like my dog, Rossi. You will much appreciate it. But you have to come and do that now. Wait, stop it. Sorry, guys. We're live, as they say. Yeah, so I remember it was a hard game. The soundtrack, if I hear the soundtrack anyway, I instantly go boom, like the underwater level. How relaxing is that? That should be like salt as music to help people sleep if they're struggling to sleep, you know. So this was the first big moment, I think, than I can remember in gaming. Right, staying with the Super Nintendo, okay, I haven't got a Super Nintendo anymore, okay? These are just games that I've had from my childhood, you know? I'm going to use this as like a prop, if you like. So it is Street Fighter 2, the Hyper Street Fighter 2. But a special moment, I remember one of my best friends from primary school up to comprehensive school, his cousin his father and mother must have had a really good job. They had like a really big 4 or 5 bedroom house, and they had all the games basically. And I remember seeing in a catalogue that Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I remember it was $74.99 for the game back in the 90s, okay? And so it was no chance. Well, I never thought I'd know anybody whose parents was willing to fork out that kind of money. Because you had Street Fighter 2, then Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out, and it was insane money. But of course, they had the extra characters. I remember DJ, I thought he was the coolest looking thing ever. Then I was like, oh, what's this? Chun-Li, Bruce Lee's in the game. Obviously, it's Fei Long. Yeah, so it was like, I went up my mate's house. I think we were just going to go out and hang around, you know, it's just like going out push bikes and, you know, hang around. And then we just, should we go down my cousin's house? I was like, yeah, I didn't really want to go. I didn't really know him. He was a year or two younger. And there was my mate, his 2 brothers, two of his cousins and me. And we were just passing the controller around. It's kind of winner stays on. And because the rounds are over in a couple of minutes, you know, everybody, it wasn't like watching. I've been happy just to watch, you know. But I've got such fun. I didn't realise it at the time that was one of my favourite gaming. That was going to be one of my favourite gaming memories of my entire life. You know, I made friends with these 2 other people I didn't really know. Bonded a bit with my best friend's brothers as well. So I'm good friends with them to this day. And it all started with Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you know. So that is a special moment or memory I've got of gaming. Right, another one then is Killer Instinct Gold. Now, this isn't, I wish I had the original copy I had from back in the day. I bought the game separately, and I found an eBay seller that does these. They're okay. You can tell it's a printed copy. I just haven't seen an original game case for one, so I probably will, because I got so much love for this game. This is a top 10 of my all-time list, okay? And what was special about this game, when the N64 came out, I didn't go to town to pick up an N64, but there's a shop, it's still there to this day, in Swansea Market called Console Action. His son runs it now, but back then it was his father was running it. But his son was always in there. His son was around about my age, and it was funny, like, being a teenager, a young teenager, and there's a teenager behind the till serving you, but he knows his shit, you know? And I always used to call in there, and I was with my brother. I can't remember. We might have been going to the cinema or something like that. And then on the way to the bus station, we called into this shop, and just I wasn't after anything particular. And they had an N64 pre-owned, and it was like, I had exactly the right amount of money in my bank account. I've done this a couple of times, emptied my bank account. I did it with my Xbox as well. And I think it was like £125. And I'd bang on 100, or something. I had like £126 in the bank. So I thought, yes. Went to the bank, withdrew my money, came back. I was so excited. I said, please don't sell it to anyone else. The guy's looking at me, said, yeah, okay, mate. Probably thinking I was a time waster. Came back in there, bought it. Then it dawned on me, I haven't got any games, and I didn't have any money for any games. And the thing with the N64, back then, none of my mates had them either. And the cheapest game they had was this. And I looked at my brother, and he looked at me as if, what? I said, please, can I borrow money for any game? And he said, okay, what's the cheapest game? So he lent me money to buy it, and it just turned out to be Killer Instinct Gold. I don't know, there's some shit games out on the Nintendo 64. Like, if it was like a a fucking Barbie game or something, perhaps it wouldn't be such a special game. But I played the hell out of this. I didn't have anybody to swap games with. Again, for a good couple of months, a couple of my mates then ended up getting, or maybe influenced by me. But the soundtrack is outstanding. I've got Killer Instinct albums on my phone. My mains were Fulgo, surprise, surprise, and Spinal was probably my favourite in this game. Yeah, so this game, again, it's one of those things, you look back and think, wow, I remember that clearly. I remember what the weather was like, but you didn't realise it at the time. That was a special moment in your life, in your gaming life, you know. Another special moment in my life is this game here. What wowed me with this was, I think there's like 44, 45 characters. Yeah, 44 characters, right? But this was where I discovered SNK Characters. If I'm right, I might have picked this up by mistake. I thought I was buying... this was on the PS2. I should have grabbed that copy, shouldn't I? So whenever I think Capcom versus SNK2, I grab my GameCube version. It's my favourite version. But I think it was in a 3 for 20 quid or something. It was like one of those buy two, get one free, or one of those deals. And I just grabbed this. I was in a bit of a hurry. And I thought it was Marvel versus Capcom 2. For some reason, that's what my brain said. Took it home. I thought, what's this? At first, I was a bit, I don't know about this. I didn't know the characters, you know. I was like, SNK, what's that? But what was magical or special about this game, or the memories I've got, it just opened my eyes, opened my brain to this amazing world of, you know, the Samurai Showdown, the King of Fighters games, the Fatal Furies and stuff like that. And as you know, anybody that's watched any of my videos on my channel, I play this all the time. It's a very good, very special game. It's one of my easily top 3 game of all time, that is. Right, we're going fast forwarding now to more modern games. And what stands out with these next 3, as far as like a wow factor or special moment, memory I should say, is mainly the graphics. I bought so the first one is Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate for the Nintendo 3DS. And I bought as a recommendation, I bought the 3DS. I think one year my mother said, what do you want for Christmas? I had no idea. And at the time I was working as a regional manager. So I was doing a lot of travelling, a lot of time on the train and stuff. And for some reason I thought I'd have time to game while I'm on the train. As it turned out, the job very rarely give me that luxury, you know. You're on the train, you're doing emails, taking phone calls, But my good friend Chris recommended I pick up a 3DS. And he told me which one to get. It was a bit confusing. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. The man in the shop thought I was buying for my son. I went along with it. I was like, yeah, my son, yeah. You know, because I had my business, my blazer and shit on. Must have been looking smart. You know, me, I didn't look like a gamer. I don't know what gamers look like, but he just assumed it was for my kids, like, you know. And I thought the 3DS, I did the 3D aspect, I did turn it on when I first had a couple of games. I had like Street Fighter 4, I had, what else did I play? Dragon Quest, one of them. I played that shit out of that. And I turned the 3D on, didn't like it, turned it off. I was happy you could turn it off, okay? But then I played this game. I ordered this game, put it in, and something made me go, let's have a look at the 3D. Fucking hell. It's amazing. It was like, what am I looking at? I was like tilting it thinking, wow. And it's not a gimmick. It does work. And this is probably the first game I discovered where I could play with the 3D on. I had not quite all the way up, a tiny bit lower than all the way up. But I remember thinking, fuck this. It's a good game as well. It's a very, very good game. It's probably my favourite Castlevania game of all time. Yeah, that's a bold claim. Yeah, that's my favourite. This is my favourite Castlevania. And yeah, the 3D well, I remember where I was sitting on my bed when I was living with my mother in my mother's house. Yeah, very, very good game that is. So that's another one. Another one pretty much with the graphics, is Battlefront. This is probably the best graphics. I'll do the next two together then, and Injustice 2, right? I think these are the best looking games on the PlayStation 4. Bold claim, but I can't remember what planet it was on. I think it was on Hoth maybe, and there's like rocks. I remember looking at it and thinking, that looks real. And my TV, I got an alright TV. I'd love to see what it's like in a big, like, top of the range telly. But, yeah, this wowed me. I was nearly calling my mother, Mum, come look at these graphics. I just didn't know what to do. I was so excited. Like, what? It was a wow moment, you know? And the same with Injustice 2. When you play, I don't know what it is. It's like the lighting, like on the Ninja Turtles, like you see in Leonardo there. Like the shadows, and then like it's almost like you can see like his skin, like the sweat on this skin kind of thing. And it's stunning. The backgrounds and everything. It's the wow factor, definitely. Right, that's my honourable mentions. Okay, thanks to anyone that's still watching. Okay, we are actually now going to get into my top 3, okay? I will say though, spoilers, there's going to be, I think it's my number 1. So if you get to my number 1 and you haven't played that game, there's going to be a spoiler, okay? There's no way I can talk about this game because the spoiler is the special moment, basically, okay? But then before we get there, I just noticed 2 of these are Star Wars games. Wow, okay. I got number 3 then, like special moment in gaming, is Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. Now, the thing with this game, right, this is the original case I had back in the day, okay? Bit of a sad story before we go on to why it's in my top 3, okay, for wow moments. I lent this game. Now, when I used to lend games, anything Nintendo always used to be in these fucking cardboard cases, didn't they? Now I like to look after my cases, and I didn't never think retro gaming would be a thing, but I just, I thought I'll have it, and then I'll trade it. This is probably why I've still got this little story, okay? One of my best friends, how old were we? We must have been 18. Yeah, we were 8. I think I was 18, my best friend might have been 19. Yeah, but we weren't 20, do you know what I mean? I lent the game to my mate, and I used to just lend a cartridge, because I remember I lent a game to someone, they give it back to me, and I was nearly crying. I was like, what have you done to my game? They leave it in the school bag, college bag, or anything like that. So basically, I'm sure people watching this can relate, yeah? I used to lend the cartridge. So I lent it to one of my good friends, and he lent me, I've still got it, a basketball game, and I think he lent me FIFA and NBA Jam or something. I can't remember which. I still got it in my collection, okay? And it's a little bit of a sad story, okay? We went on a night out, and he passed away, basically. It was a terrible time for us, okay? But I won't go into that too much. But then I couldn't go and knock on his family's door. Like, I did go round there, me and my mates. I'm still good friends with his parents to this day. I was a bearer in his funeral. They used to do the best barbecues. They didn't bother with us when my friend was alive. They came across a bit nasty. I was genuinely scared of his father. His older brother was a fucking semi-professional boxer and stuff. They were like people you wouldn't want to mess with, basically, right? So my friend passed away, sadly, and I just couldn't bring it up. Oh, by the way, can I get my games back? You just can't, do you know what I mean? It was just, don't go there. So then this box, I couldn't, because of that memory, I couldn't get rid of this box. At the time, it was worthless anyway, because I didn't realise retro gaming was a thing. I moved on to the newer consoles and things like that. And then when I got back into retro collecting, I saved myself a couple of quid, because it's a nice condition box, I just bought the cartridge and put it in there. So it's back complete in box, okay? Anyway, I'm sorry about that sad story, but this is my life in gaming. I'm sharing my stories with you guys. Hope you enjoy them. But this was the first ever game I played that was 3D. And I remember I bought it second hand. So whoever had played it before, their saves were on the cartridge. And I remember running around the Hoth base, and it was like, I can run over there, and I just run into a wall, and then turn around and go, I can run over there, and run into the other end of this massive room. And it was like, this is insane. I tried to play this the other day, and the fucking controls are solid. But back then, you didn't know any better. Maybe we look back at the controls we use now and think, how the fuck did you play shooters and fighting games with those controllers? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, this was the first ever 3D experience I had, and it blew me away. It was a special moment, definitely. So that's why this is number 3 in my special moments of gaming. Let me make sure now. Yeah, my number 2, I think quite a few people might have this experience, was Halo. Now, when this game came out, it was light years ahead of everything else, okay? First, level 1, wow, great. You're on the spaceship. You're like, this looks amazing. But then when you crash land onto the Halo, and then people are shooting, like the ghosts are up in the air shooting at you, and I'm just zooming in on the fucking grass. It was like, wow. Kind of when I first saw Donkey Kong, okay? It was kind of that experience again. It was like, fuck, look how good this game looks. And like Donkey Kong, it's a fantastic game. I finished this again this year. I got a couple of games I tend, like Freedom Fighters, I got a couple of games I tend to just play every single year. It does slow me down getting through my backlog, but fuck it, I'll do what I want, Yeah, so Halo, great game. It's one of my favourite shooters, if not my favourite shooter. And yeah, it was absolutely beautiful game back then. And it was like special. It was like, wow, next gen has arrived with the Xbox, So that was my number 2. Now this is where the spoiler is. Knights of the Old Republic. This is actually my first ever RPG. I didn't know what an RPG was. I thought it was like a action hack and slash. It was bit of an learning curve, steep learning curve, if I'm honest. I did get to the point where I thought, if it wasn't Star Wars, same exact story, but it wasn't in the Star Wars universe, I would have stopped. I wouldn't even go off that first spaceship, that crash landed. But the wow moment, this is like, this trumps all the films I've watched. When your guy, what was his name? Basically, your character gets flashbacks. Well, they're not flashbacks. They're like, he has dreams. You're hunting this Sith Lord. I think his name was Revan. Now, they got this guy as well. He's a badass. And like in between each level, your character would be like tossing and turning in bed, and he'd be having like these dreams because you're trying to find this Sith Lord. And like, it's like, oh, right. And that's how you find out, is you think, oh, it must be the Force. He's linked somehow to this other guy. And when you find out it's not right at the end, but it's towards the end, that the person you're chasing is you, and Bastilla, if that was her name. Again, I haven't played this game for so long, sorry guys. She's in on it. She's selected because of her, she's got like mind power control. So she's got some thing on your brain through the Force to kind of blur your memory. So they're using you to get to him, which I was like, no way. It was like, drop the controller. Wow moment, that sums up. This is the reason I wanted to make this video, and I'm so happy that they're going to do. It sounds like they're going to give this game, the remake, the Final Fantasy VII kind of treatment. Because I think more people need to experience this game. A lot of people today would just look at these graphics and go, nah, I can't play that game for 40 odd hours. I could. Unpopular opinion, some games I think peaked visually on the Xbox. That's just my opinion. But But yeah, I hope more people get to experience that wow moment, that special moment in gaming, you know. So again, I did warn you. I did say spoilers. I think I said at the beginning and at the end. Well, that, guys, is my top 3. Fuck, what did we say we were going to call it? Special gaming moments. And a brief kind of history of my gaming, you know. Please, not begging, but I'm asking very nicely to smash that subscribe button. And please let me know as well, what's your top 3 special moments in gaming? Or what was your first 3D game when you went from 2 to 3D? Again, youngsters today won't ever experience that, you know. Maybe it can relate it to, you know, our parents when they went from watching black and white telly to colour telly. You know, it was a big deal. It might not sound it, but to me it was a big deal anyway. Yeah, let me know what was your first 3D game, or what were your wow moments in gaming. Thanks for watching. This has gone on a bit longer than, as always, it's gone on a bit longer than I thought it would. Stay safe out there, guys. As always, love you, bye.